Being a pastor child, a lot of people have high expectation from us. They feel like because your dad is a pastor, automatically you should have the calling. There's a way you should do things. Fine, there's a way we should do things, but we are also an entire different human from our father and from our parents. So the expectation was quite high. At some points it was so very confusing. It led to trying to please people, what people will say and all those things. But over the time, I was able to find myself, like finding peace with God and find peace with myself. So the whole journey made me to understand that you can be in the church for 15, 20 years and you are not actually in the church.
Hi, you're welcome back to another episode of the Bodied and Mindful. And I remain your host, Coach Nikki. Today I have with me Ibitade Gbenga. Gbenga is an amazing artist. He is a content creator and he's a businessman. So Gbenga, talk to us. What was growing up like for you?
Looking at it in general, it was quite interesting. And I would also like to mention the fact that I'm from a Christian family, not just a Christian family. My dad is a founder of a church. So like growing up for me was so very eventful, church events and all. Also, there were some parts that were quite challenging for me also, most especially the religious activities that I was not so very interested in. Maybe waking up early in the morning to pray, morning devotion, sometimes it's very comfortable, sometimes not. But growing up in general was quite interesting and eventful for me, yeah.
Would you say you were deprived of your childhood, so to speak? Because you'd mentioned to me before that you feel like you missed out on a lot and you didn't get to mix with children your age or just learn how to communicate with people.
Okay, that is actually true. Growing up, I was opportune to have this type of mother that if something is not worth it to her, she doesn't feel the reason why you should step out. So if I needed to see one of my friends the next door and she was like, "It's today his birthday. What is he doing?" I'm like, "Nothing." Okay, so go in. Yeah.
So being a pastor's kid couldn't have been easy. So what was the most challenging thing? What did you face? What were the expectations? What was the pressure? How was it for you?
Being a pastor child, a lot of people have high expectation from us. They feel like because your dad is a pastor, automatically you should have the calling. There's a way you should do things. Fine, there's a way we should do things, but we are also an entire different human from our father and from our parents. So the expectation was quite high. At some points it was so very confusing. It led to trying to please people, what people will say and all those things. But over the time, I was able to find myself, like finding peace with God and find peace with myself. So the whole journey made me to understand that you can be in the church for 15, 20 years and you are not actually in the church. So because it was after my stay with my parents that I actually know who God is for myself. Everything I needed to do from there, I did not need anybody to compel me to do that. And I don't need any other motivation with the exception of the motivation that brought me into that space in the first place, which is Christ.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
The word of God is good for our mental health, right?
Right. Yeah.
So Gbenga, you used to have a football career.
Yeah.
What happened to it? At least now I would have been, having fun on a yacht or something,
If I'm actually to start one after the other, what led to me quitting football is a very long one. But one of the ones I can remember right now is, this also teaches me, you should be careful of the friends you have. And, so there was this friend I met after my secondary school and we were playing the ball together, and all of a sudden he came around. I was like, oh, I have a match so place, and let me borrow your gadget and all. No. Out of the good mind, I gave them all out to him. You know, as a young person, no source of income, nowhere to get another one. I can tell you that was the beginning of the end. You know, coupled with the fact that after my secondary school, my admission came. I was preparing to further my football career outside the country, and my dad was like, okay, you need to go to school. If you don't go to school with this on you, you know, those kind of African vibe of a father, you know. So, you know, yeah. So coupled with the fact that gaining admission into the school I gained admission into didn't really actually help the career. University of Ilorin, if you know very well, the social life in University of Ilorin is more like maybe 0 to 10. So that contributed to the whole thing. Yeah.
You know, I've met a lot of people who, you know, dropped football as a career, and when they talk about it with so much pain and bitterness. So was it easy for you to just let go of that dream? Do you, in hindsight now, do you think that you could have fought better? You could have, you know, been more stubborn, you know, try to do school and still do your football?
Yeah, I would say yes, because as a child, you know, there will be a lot of uncertainty. You don't actually know what you're doing. You don't know where you're going to. Your journey become more clearer to you if there is someone out there as a father figure or as a role model that is willing to put you through one or two things. These things, you don't do it this way. This is how you go about it. Mentoring, you know. So I think for that season of my life, I was not having that kind of, I was not having that opportunity. So everything I had to do was just all by myself, all my decisions, all by myself. So I just think I took the best decision for the moment that I think is best. But looking at it years after, I can tell you that I could have gone a little bit harder, like gone out of my way to really actually make things work. And coupled with the fact that when you grow up in an environment where you see people that are doing what you're doing, they've done it and they are nowhere. So you know, seeing little discouragement would just team up with whatever you already have in your mind already. And I think that was it.
That's awesome, Gbenga. Okay, I have another question for you. Have you ever been heartbroken? Have you ever experienced emotional trauma? Speak to me, talk to me.
I believe strongly that for any adult of my age, one way or the other would have gone through a break. But when you talk about heartbreak, are you talking about relationship or just
it doesn't have to be a love interest.
Okay.
It could be a, you know, really good friendship turned sour, or maybe somebody broke your heart during a business, you know, transaction. I
like to view this from the aspect of that business. I think upper year, I did a business running into some millions. So like as an investment. So I was expecting that I would be able to do a lot with that business, and the company that I had the deal with didn't actually go well. So it's more like I lost a lot of money. It was so heartbroken for me. And yes.
How long did you stay heartbroken? How did you move past that situation?
It was actually for a while, having to start to come up with capital now to continue the business. Let me just say for like 5 months. So how I helped myself out of that situation was that I got to realize that the problem is there and there is nothing I can do to change the situation. So I had to tell myself that the best thing for me to do from this place is, what is the solution? Who is the next person to call? And I think looking at it right now, I'm glad that I took the decision. I'm like, okay, it has gone. I can make another one. So
that's awesome to know, because I know that most people have problems. They run into problems when they experience something that would traumatize them. Maybe somebody betraying you or someone breaking your heart, so to speak, and then they don't get over it, and somehow it seeps into every area of their life. Let's circle back a little, back to music. I want to know how you went from football to university to pursuing a music career.
Right from the beginning of this, I said something about my church background.
Yeah.
And my dad being a founder. So you being a child of the founder, you have access to almost everything in the church. So if you have it in mind to be one of the security, you are free to do that. So I was just opportune to be exposed to instruments from childhood. I started from singing, playing the drums, and so everything I learned and everything I know was always there, even while the football was going on. So, but I was not taking music like something I would actually want to do. So, but I was seeing football as the main thing. But later on, after some time, things happened, and man, you know, music was just the next thing for me. And it wasn't as if I planned, like I want to go into music. It just happened that there was a particular day, a friend came to me. I was like, that was when this sports bet was just coming out, and maybe 2010. So it was like, we should play a particular game. I'm like, okay, I want to play. I went inside, I have that money with me. But getting inside, I was like, okay, the money that is with me is more important than the one I want to get from the bets. That was how I aborted that mission, and I took the money to the studio. I recorded my first song, and people hearing the first song, and they started supporting, giving money, to record more songs. So before I know it, within a month, I already have an album ready from people's support. So that was the beginning, major beginning of my music. So yeah.
Would you say that music is your purpose? Like this is what you're meant to be doing?
Yes.
Because I've listened to one of your songs and I'm like, wow, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, music is something that I really love to do, and I can actually do music for free. If like I can do, like, I really love it to that extent, and I can do it. It's not really about the money. Is good, right? I want the money, but I can tell you that if the money is what is keeping me in this game, I will not be here today. I'll not be doing the music. So the passion comes in for me first, and it is something I would do at any age, at any time.
Can you tell us about the time in your life where you experienced low self-esteem, and what was the situation, and how did you get over it? How did you recover?
It still boils down to growing up. You know, when you find yourself in a family whereby when some certain people are talking, you don't dare talk. When some certain people are seated somewhere, you don't dare sit with them. So low self-esteem, for me, my low self-esteem started from there. So it got to a level whereby when I enter, for instance, if I'm being invited for something like this, for me to talk is problem. Yeah, for me to talk is problem. Get into where the people, like, there is that feeling like everybody is just saying something awful about me and all those things. So there was just so much that was playing in my head because of that what I started the whole journey with. So even back then in school, 100 level, 200 level, 300 level, I was not talking to anybody. A lot of people thought I was very proud. But there was just this part of me that just feel like I don't fit into that space. I just want to come to school and read and go back home. So how I was able to deal with this was, it still boils down to me accepting myself.
Yeah.
You know, accepting myself. Okay, this is me. This is the way I talk. This is the way I walk. This is the way I do what I have to do. So I have to accept myself. I see other people and I feel like, okay, this person is not like me. He's unique to himself. So why can't I be unique to myself? So yeah, from there, from getting to know myself and accepting myself, so I started moving past that stage gradually, and I started making conscious efforts, linking up with people. Even before I can keep good conversation. Yes, for me to sit with you and have a conversation with you, I cannot. So, but finding myself, like finding peace with myself, finding peace with God, just sealed. So over the time, I started getting better gradually. I'm still working. I'm still as a work in progress, you know. Yeah. So yeah. Well,
So did it have anything to do with your gaze? I know you had mentioned at some point that you know that you have some feminine characteristics.
Yeah.
And I know that there are guys who have that same characteristics, and they are usually labeled as gay or labeled to be transgender. So how did you handle that situation?
As far back as my secondary school days, I've been hearing people calling me fine girl, fine girl, fine girl, fine girl. Yes. is that crazy, you know? So, you know, when this whole thing started, I was just looking at it like, okay, maybe it's nothing. Even then, I did not know what gay is about. I don't know what homosexual is about. So I just hear people saying fine girl, fine girl. I just feel like maybe they are just vibing around or something like it. Was just later, yeah.
What kind of vibing is that?
Maybe they just want to say something.
And they're just whining.
Yeah, maybe they are just whining me. So it was later that I left. Maybe there is this program in University of Ilorin called Remedials, like pre-degree. Getting to mix up with other students from other places, Lagos, some other places. So I started mixing up with people and talking with them and getting to realize that there is more to what these people are calling me. So I think that was where the awareness started from.
Okay.
So, and what I think what I did was that I made sure that I didn't allow that get to me. You understand? So I think there was not any particular time that I was hostile or maybe angry about it, but I just know who I am, you know.
Yeah.
Till maybe some months ago, I still have gay guys coming around. I had to tell them I like Yash, I like fine girls. You know.
So I like it big.
Are you getting it? You know, I had to be that blunt with them. Like, I'm not this kind of person. I might be having some kind of you guys trait, but it's not. It doesn't mean that I want to go that far with you guys.
You grew up with only sisters.
I think that contributed to that. So, you know, yes.
I know from having a conversation with you, you're somebody who has been through a lot, and at this point in your life, you have mastered, maybe not mastered, but you have better control over your thought process, over your emotional well-being and your mental well-being. So share with us, what are the ways you keep yourself grounded? How do you center yourself amidst chaos, amidst, you know, different things happening in your life? How do you center yourself to still be focused on what you do and still remain your original, authentic self?
My recovery journey started 2018. So I came majorly to Lagos after my school for music school. So I was looking around for church to attend. The school is in Lekki, so like looking for schools to church to attend. One way or the other, I was introduced to RVSS, Pastor Bolaji. So I started attending the church. I attended the first service. The word I heard was life-changing for me. I just said to myself that I need to be here. So what I'm trying to bring out of this is that the contact I had with that man of God and the church really changed so many things for me. How I see myself, how I see other people, everything I feel inside of me was being touched. Like, this is like, you know, when a man of God talks about your situation, not only talking about the Bible alone, talking about your situation. So that season of my life was just like a life-changing period for me. And I think since then, that journey led me to understanding the fact that it is me. And I have to work things out for myself, and made me to believe that my life is whatever I decide that it should be. So if I'm here right now and you ask me a question, I decided not to answer the question. I decided to stand up and dance. That is what I decide that I want my life to be at that moment. So moments when I am feeling like I want to go low in emotions, I just tell myself that if I start playing music and singing along now, it is my decision. That thing will not creep in. So I told myself that my life is whatever I want it to be. So I think that has really, really helped me. Even when everything is going south, I'm like, this is where I want to stay. And
you chose this.
Yes, this is the life I've chosen. Yes.
So what's the best and worst advice you've ever listened or you've ever heard?
Wow.
Maybe you tell us the best advice and then the worst advice.
Okay, let me, I think best advice, I got the advice from a friend, but an older friend, like way older. The man should be close to 100 now. So when I was in school, I used to have this friend that she's always calling me and all, like, so it got to a point and I started feeling guilty that I'm not calling this friend and she's always calling me that I wish I just have money too, so that I can start calling her, so that at least to reciprocate the gesture. And the man, we were driving together and the man didn't say anything. After like 5 minutes, he said to me that when I was in primary school, I said, yes, sir. He said, I bab people to pay for my school fee.
When he was in primary school?
Yes.
Wow.
That there were some people that when there's a particular wares that comes out today, tomorrow, you see it on them tomorrow. That he pointed out to me and said, do you remember so man that always comes to my house? I said, yes, sir. What, he always come to beg for food, Abi? I said, yes, sir. He said, that's one of them. So he said to me that in a pretense to prove that you have a lot, don't waste the little that you have. So she might have a lot and she's calling me, I should leave it that way. When I have more than enough to call without affecting me, I should call. But in the pretense that I have a lot, I shouldn't waste the little that I have.
That's good advice. So what's the worst advice anybody has given you? The worst, either somebody has given you or maybe you heard it somewhere.
Worst advice. I don't think there is any. I think right from childhood, I've just been, because I've always been alone. So I've always been taking my decisions myself. All the good things I did it by myself. All the bad ones, I did it by myself. So it wasn't like maybe there was any major influence over my decisions. Maybe I can't remember any for now, but I've just been this person of my own decision. So any points at any stage I get to, I take my decision. I am of this belief that I prefer to fail with my own decisions, with my own advice, than an advice someone gave to me. They're asking me, why did you fail? I'm like, brother so gave me advice. Why don't I have my head?
True.
So I am willing to fail through my own decisions, through my own trials, not like what someone said to me and later on it turns bad.
Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us today. And I'm sure you've all learned a thing or two, or more than a thing or two, talking about low self-esteem, talking about conquering emotional challenges, you know, and being your own person, learning to make your own decisions and all that. But before you go, you have to give us some melody.
Okay.
You know, I know music is good for the mind. Music is good for your mental well-being. And so Benjamin is going to be serenading us for 2-3 minutes. Let's hear your voice. Let's hear what you can do. And that is what we're going to do. We're going to use to end this episode. So before Benjamin comes on to serenade us, I would like to say to you again, this is the Bodied and Mindful show. This is a safe space for you. On this show, what we do is we demystify mental health, mental well-being, because people think it is something out of the ordinary. It is just your daily life, how you manage your emotional well-being and your mental well-being. So don't forget to subscribe to the Bodied and Mindful, comment, and don't forget to share your story using the hashtag #TheBodiedAndMindful. I remain your host, Coach Nikki. So till next time, stay bodied and mindful.
Yeah. Can I call you baby? Can you be my friend? Can you be my lover up until the very end? And let me show your love, oh no pretend. Stick by my side even when the world is caving in. Oh, don't you worry, I'll be there whenever you want me. I need somebody who can love me and my world. No, I'm not perfect, but I hope you see my word. It's only you, nobody know I put you first. And for you, girl, I say I do the work. Yeah, nah, yeah. And for you, girl, I swear I do the work. So I say, loving you so much. Steady balling like Sajurama. Nothing stressing you, ọmọ tó fine, ọmọ tó sure. Do anything for you. Yeah. Will you trust I'm honest when they're telling lies? Can you see what I'm not saying from my eye? All I know is love for you, it's real. It's different from everything that I thought I feel. Oh, don't you worry, I'll be there whenever you want me. I need somebody who can love me at my word. No, I'm not perfect, but I hope you see my worth. It's only you, nobody know I put you first. And for you, girl, I swear I do the work. Yeah, I do the work. For you, I do the work. I do the work.